Hey everybody, welcome back to the Clever Pixel channel. You know what they say, right? The best things in life are free, and also completely accidental. We're talking about those oops moments that change the world. Like imagine tripping over a cat, landing face first into a bowl of cookie dough, and bam! You invent the ice cream cone. From life-saving medicine to the things you just can't live without, I'm looking at you, potato chips. Get ready to have your mind blown because today we're diving headfirst into the wacky world of accidental inventions. So buckle up, Buttercup. Number 1. Picture this: 1945, World War II is winding down, and a Raytheon engineer named Percy Spencer is working on, wait for it, radar technology. This guy's got magnetrons on the brain, right? These things are basically high-powered electromagnets that shoot out microwaves. One day, Percy's standing near one of these bad boys and he feels something strange. His chocolate bar starts melting in his pocket. He starts experimenting, zapping popcorn. Then an egg, spoiler alert, it exploded. And voila! The microwave oven is born. Number 2. Our next accidental invention is a true testament to the power of eureka. Moments, or maybe just really bad glue. Meet Dr. Spencer Silver, a scientist at 3M who was trying to create a super strong adhesive, but instead of a groundbreaking glue, he ended up with, well, the opposite. Fast forward a few years, and a colleague of his, Arthur Fry, is singing in his church choir, frustrated that his bookmarks keep falling out of his hymnal. That useless adhesive Dr. Silver had created would be perfect for bookmarks that could be removed without damaging the pages, and bam, the post-it note was born. Number 3. Alright, let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, mold. I know, not the most appetizing thing, but trust me on this one. Back in 1928, a Scottish scientist named Alexander Fleming was known for being, shall we say, a bit messy in the lab. One day, Fleming returned from a vacation only to find that one of his petri dishes filled with bacteria had been contaminated with, you guessed it, mold. The mold had actually killed the bacteria around it, and thus penicillin, one of the most important antibiotics in history, was discovered. Number 4. Alright, let's be real. Who here doesn't love a good potato chip? I mean, they're crispy, salty, and the perfect partner in crime for dips, sandwiches, or just straight-up snacking. But did you know that this beloved snack was actually a product of pure culinary rage? The story goes that back in 1853, a chef named George Crumb at a fancy restaurant in Saratoga Springs, New York, was having a bit of a day. A customer kept sending back his French fries, complaining they were too thick and soggy. Crumb, at his wit's end, decided to teach the customer a lesson. He sliced the potatoes paper thin, fried them to a crisp, and doused them in salt. To his surprise, the customer loved them, and thus, the potato chip was born. Number 5. Alright, let's talk about Velcro, that magical fastener that's on everything from shoes to spacesuits. But this marvel of modern engineering wasn't the product of some high-tech lab. It was all thanks to a dog and some pesky burrs. In 1941, a Swiss engineer named Georges de Mestral went for a walk in the woods with his dog. When they got back, George noticed his dog was covered in burrs, those little seed pods with tiny hooks that cling to everything. He put the burrs under a microscope and discovered their tiny hooks, which gave him an idea. After years of research and experimentation, he figured out how to replicate those hooks and loops, and bam! Velcro was born. Number 6. Let's rewind to 1886 in Atlanta, Georgia, where a pharmacist named John Pemberton was whipping up, not a refreshing beverage but a cure for headaches. Pemberton's concoction contained ingredients like coca leaves and cola nuts, both believed to have medicinal properties at the time. He mixed it all up, hoping to create the next big headache remedy. But then, something magical happened. The soda fountain clerk accidentally mixed Pemberton's syrup with, wait for it, carbonated water. And just like that, the world's first Coca-Cola was born. Number 7. The shocking discovery of X-rays. It's 1895, and German physicist Wilhelm Röntgen is in his lab, messing around with cathode rays, basically beams of electrons. One day, he notices something totally bizarre. A screen coated with a fluorescent material starts glowing even though his cathode ray tube is covered. Turns out the rays were passing through the covering and lighting up the screen. Röntgen had accidentally discovered a new type of ray that could penetrate solid objects. He called them X-rays because, well, he didn't know what else to call them. The first X-ray image he captured? his wife's hand, complete with her wedding ring. Number 8. Hold on to your spoons, folks, because this next accidental invention is a breakfast staple. Let's travel back to 1894, where two brothers, John Harvey Kellogg and Will Keith Kellogg, were running a sanitarium in Battle Creek, Michigan. They were all about healthy living, right? So, they were experimenting with different grains to create new health foods. One day they accidentally left a pot of boiled wheat sitting out, and it got all soggy. Instead of tossing it, they decided to run the soggy wheat through rollers, hoping to make long sheets of dough. But instead of dough, they got flakes. They toasted those flakes up and bam, cornflakes were born. Number 9. Get ready to have your mind stuck on this next one. Superglue, that incredibly strong adhesive that can bond practically anything, wasn't actually intended to be a household name. Back in 1942, a chemist named Harry Coover was working at Kodak, trying to develop a clear plastic for gun sights during World War II. But his experiments kept failing, producing this incredibly sticky goo that stuck to everything in sight. Frustrated, Coover almost gave up. But then, 9 years later, it hit him. This useless goo wasn't a failure, it was a revolutionary adhesive. And thus, superglue was born. Number 10. Last but not least, let's talk about Teflon, the miracle coating that keeps your eggs from sticking to the pan and your food sliding right off. But this invention wasn't planned, it was a happy accident. In 1938, a chemist named Roy Plunkett at DuPont was working with gases used in refrigerators. One day he opened a cylinder of tetrafluoroethylene gas, but nothing came out. Curious, he sawed the cylinder open and found a waxy white powder inside. Turns out the gas had polymerized, creating a substance that was incredibly slippery and heat-resistant. They called it Teflon. So there you have it, folks. 10 accidental inventions that prove sometimes the best things in life are unexpected. From microwaves to potato chips, these oops moments change the way we eat, work, and live our daily lives. Let us know your favorite accidental inventions in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more mind-blowing discoveries. Until next time, stay curious.